welcome to this very special conversation. India's latest commercial airline, Akasa Air, recently celebrated its one-year anniversary of operations and was on a dream run with having over 20 aircraft in its fleet, getting the go-ahead for international air operations as well, and also increasing their market share. But unfortunately, the last few months have raised a lot of questions on the stability and the financial health of the airline. Is all that a thing of the past? We have with us a very special guest, the CEO of the airline, Vinay Dube. Vinay, it's always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
So, Vinay, I want to first begin with the couple of elephants in the room. I want to first begin by understanding the most pressing issue that has unfortunately garnered a lot of headlines in the last few weeks and months, which was the legal saga between pilots of Akasa and the airline itself. Now, our numbers in our reportage had told us, and a lot of sources on record also, that there were upwards of 40 pilots who in fact had resigned, which in fact led to the airline facing a lot of disruptions. So I want to first just understand, has all of that now been sorted? Is it now fair to say that pilot shortage is no more a concern for the airline?
Yes, Ridhima, this is all behind us. And to be honest, pilot shortage was never a concern. I think what was a concern was, this small handful of pilots actually abandoning their posts and leaving Akasa without even 24 hours notice. We are a team of planners. We've been around in aviation for a long, long time. We would never launch an airline, without adequate planning for pilots. But this was a situation, that is, honestly, that's never transpired before. And I've been around in aviation for a long, long time where this handful of pilots decide to leave without even 24 hours notice. This is not something that one, really plans for. And so I would say that is well behind us. And we are squarely back in growth mode.
Vinay, so the case in fact had gone to multiple courts as well. So I want to understand, how did you see the proceedings there? We'd seen proceedings in the Delhi High Court as well as the Bombay High Court. How would you try and categorize the proceedings and the final outcome? Would you say it was in favor of the airline?
Well, so the relevant proceeding we're talking about is the Delhi High Court.
Yeah.
And to be very honest, I wouldn't characterize it as favorable for the airline, because really this is an issue that affects consumers. So I characterize this as a ruling that is favorable for consumers, because the ruling very clearly stated that the contractual obligations between the pilot and the airline needs to be respected. And that is not in favor of the airline, that's in favor of consumers. Because, the people that bear the brunt of pilots abandoning their posts are consumers, as was experienced by our customers in the July and August timeframe. So we're very pleased with the ruling, and that it is a consumer-friendly ruling.
Vinay, I want to just talk to you specifically as far as the entire issue of the notice period was concerned, because you pointed this out a short while ago that these handful of pilots, as you're categorizing them, in fact left without even a 24-hour heads up. So what did you have to feel as far as the ruling about the notice period was concerned?
Sorry, what did we, can you repeat that question?
So I was essentially just asking, because you spoke about earlier that these pilots in fact left without a heads up of 24 hours. So then what did you feel particularly as far as the ruling around the notice period?
What we were seeking was that the contractual notice period, which in Akasa's case is 6 months for this very, very critical and highly skilled job, that our 6-month notice period be respected. And I think that was the Delhi High Court ruling that the contract between Akasa and its pilots needs to be respected. And so that was really what we were seeking for.
Now, Vinay, this of course had very unfortunate ramifications for the customer and for the airline as well, because we did see suspending of operations from Bengaluru to Chennai, Hyderabad. So what's the word as far as the flight disruptions are concerned?
Yeah, so first, you named 2 destinations, Bengaluru, Chennai, Bengaluru, Hyderabad. I will tell you, one of them was, had nothing to do with this. One of them was really changed back in June. And the reason that was changed was just because we had some really juicy Go Air slots available. And so that was something that we decided just to fly, to an alternative, much more lucrative destination. So I wouldn't really equate the two. But having said that, this is all behind us, right? Whatever a reduction in network we had to take, we took. So what we did was we put our revenue as a secondary consideration, and the stability and dependability of our network, and therefore the dependability of what we offer our consumers as the primary objective. And so we reduced our schedule. And again, that is all behind us, and now we're back in growth mode. So you'll see our network only continuing to increase, and in fact, you will see us, selling a network for March or the end of this fiscal year that is, well over 30% larger than what we're flying today.
So Vinay, because you're saying it's all a thing of the past, it's not just the pilot issue, but there were a lot of reports as far as the financial health of the airline also were concerned. When the airline had started, and we've spoken multiple times in the past, when you had the likes of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala as an investor, the expectations, of course, were huge, and Akasa did manage to achieve a lot of them just in a short period of time. So I just want to ask you a direct question. It's twofold. One, where does the financial health of the airline currently stand? And also as far as the stability of the airline, as far as a 10-year growth plan is concerned?
Sure. So let me clarify that. I'm glad you asked, because we are perfectly fine with huge expectations. You would expect that the late and great Mr. Jhunjhunwala would have picked a good horse to bet on. So let me clarify that unequivocally.
Sure.
Mr. Jhunjhunwala and other investors gave us our initial capital. We have gone from 0 to 20 aircraft faster than any other airline in the history of global aviation. And Ridhima, we have not spent even 1 rupee of that capital, right? That to me should classify as above average expectations or exceptional expectations, however you want to characterize it. We are cash flow positive.
Okay.
In fact, we have added to the reserves of the initial investment. I don't know how much more unequivocally to put it. So these rumors for me should be put to bed.
Okay.
Our cash position, which is really the, for a young airline, is the indicator of the financial health. Our cash position is solid. In fact, we have enough cash not only to add to the reserves of the initial investment, but we have enough cash to put a triple-digit aircraft order out within the next 75 days. That's the other part that I want to put it in. And for anyone who's in aviation, they understand the financial strength and security that one needs to be able to put out a triple-digit aircraft order with the cash that we have on hand to date.
Okay, so taking on from what you're saying, if all of this is a thing of the past, let's now talk about what can we expect as far as the future is concerned. As I pointed out when I started, that just in the first 1 year, reaching that number of 20, which is crucial for any airline that is starting up, because you get the go-ahead for international flights. I want to understand, where do the deliveries of your pending order in terms of your aircraft currently stand?
Sure, we should have 2 more by the end of this calendar year. We should exit the financial year with about 25 aircraft, and we should exit the following financial year with about 40 aircraft, doubling our fleet here in the next 15, 16 months. So very, very excited. And it's not just the increase in deliveries that excites us, but we have, we're on the cusp of flying internationally. We've got route authorities now for Riyadh and Jeddah and Doha and Kuwait. And that's just to begin with. So we're very, very excited about the launch of our international operations, because these are some of the most lucrative, routes that, an Indian airline could get. And so we're extremely excited about what the future holds for Akasa.
Vinay, speaking specifically as far as the domestic market is concerned, we had seen a good growth momentum with Akasa. Unfortunately, then that saw a dip in the last few months as well. But now with the festive season, Diwali and the holiday season as well, and the grounding of Go Air that still continues, what is the kind of market share expectation that Akasa is currently working with? And secondly, what is the kind of demand that you're seeing for the upcoming holiday season?
Yeah. So first, let me clarify. We don't have any market share expectations.
Okay.
We are, we're not targeting anything. What we're targeting is growing profitably. So long-term health of business. There's nothing at Akasa we do for the short term. So market share is what our market share will be. Really, we're looking for satisfied customers. We're looking for the financial health, long-term financial health of the company. This is what we're building towards. In terms of our future, the other thing you talked about a dip. Let me tell you that from a planned perspective, we had planned for these aircraft to be delivered at the end of this year, planned for future deliveries, and so we are squarely in the middle of our delivery stream and delivery plan.
Okay.
In terms of this particular holiday season, I think it's going to be an incredibly strong holiday season as far as airlines are concerned. In fact, the way I look at it, this is the golden decade for aviation and airlines. The next 10 years is a very exciting time for us, given the sort of the Indian economy, given the size of the population, the under penetration of aviation here that we have today. We've just got this incredible future ahead of us for aviation for the next 10, 15 years.